Is your home ready for the chaos that comes with a new school year? Some years are just going to be more chaotic than others despite your best prepping and planning skills. Kids are going to outgrow those shoes you bought just last month. Jobs are going to change. Extracurricular activity, a new one's going to pop up that sounds amazing. But there are some tried and true things I've done for more than a decade now to help our home run more smoothly as we transition from summer into a new school year. So today we're going to talk about 5 areas that I make sure are in order before every school year begins. Number 1, quick, without looking, what month is your calendar on? I live and die by my calendar during the school year, as I know many of you do as well, but I hate it. So during the summer, I tend to take things off with my calendar. So very first thing, just make sure your calendar is even on the right month. Mine was stuck in June, and one of my friends, when I was telling her about this video, said hers was stuck on May. So make sure that's up to date. When you sit down with that calendar, and then before the new school year, and you're eager to start getting everything on there, or on your calendar, or your phone, or whatever kind of calendar you use, we are tempted to just start putting all of those things in. But I want to challenge you to pause. And before you schedule in all of those other commitments, make a commitment to your family. Right now, get some ideas down for a couple dates with your spouse, a couple of just for fun family activities, and even a couple of dates just for you to do something. Now, those details may change, like the time and even the date, but when you already have it blocked off before you start adding all of the other things in, you're making a commitment to your family and to yourself that you guys are what's important. While you're at your calendar, look ahead to those fall activities and start doing a brain dump. Do you have a fall vacation coming up? If so, what things still need to be planned? What things do you need to buy for it? Start that list. Do you have a fall birthday? My daughter's is in October, and inevitably it always sneaks up on me because we've just gotten through the rush of the school year and then or the start of the school year, and then it comes. Are there fall activities that start later that you know you're going to need new supplies for your kiddos? Whatever it is, start making that brain dump now. Number 2, have you refreshed your medicine cabinet lately? And are you still working through all of the toilet paper you bought back in 2020, or do you need more? What about kids' favorite snacks? No one wants to start school or start the school day by having to pause it so you can run to the drugstore because little Tame woke up with a cold, or because you discovered that someone used the last roll of toilet paper and didn't tell you. So spend 10-15 minutes going through your home and just making a list of those things that you're going to need so that you can prevent having to make it a last-minute kerfluffle as you're trying to start your school day. While you're at it, make sure you do add in those snacks and those emergency pantry staples for dinners. I even have on Subscribe and Save for Amazon things like pasta and pasta sauce that come every 4 or 5 months, 6 months, so that I've always got those things that I can hide back in the back of my cabinet for when life happens and I need a quick dinner. Number 3, meal prepping. No, I'm not talking about those videos where you see people make 6 of the same meals or 12 of the same meals to eat for the next week. I love menu planning, but when life is busy, menu planning just takes up so much of my brain power. And something that helps me is having a list, a physical list, not just up here in my brain, of our current favorites, including our favorite dinners, our favorite meals that can be packed and taken on the go easily, favorite lunches, dinner ideas that I usually have ingredients for. And if you have older kids, like I do, I keep a list of some of those meals that are really easy for them to cook independently as well for those nights when I just need to hand it off to someone else. I keep this simple 5 or 10 things in each category. I'm not trying to make a complete list of everything. I just want a reference sheet so that when I sit down to make my meal plans, I can grab a few ideas off of there and go. The sheet is free over my blog, and I will leave a link for you down below. Another thing that helps me is to have a subscription to a menu plan website. Emails is a popular one. I have used Eat at Home meal plans now for about 2 years. They get emailed to me on Fridays, and while I never use like our entire week plans because they don't fit for us, I do use regularly inspiration from her plans and use my own recipes or use the recipes that she includes. The meal plan subscription is a great springboard when I need it, or just to take directly from there when I really need that. And one other thing I do with meal prepping is to make meal pieces. Now, I am old school enough that I got married back when the once a month cooking cookbooks were really popular. And there are all kinds of variations now, but that was the staple back in the day. If you're old enough to remember that too, let me know down in the comments. And while I've never embraced like huge batch cooking like that, I do like to do what I can to get pieces ready for a dinner. I also do things like make a big batch of spaghetti sauce and divide it or freeze it into small portions. If you have standard recipes for things like tacos, enchilada sauce, barbecue, whatever, I make big jars of the seasoning blends so that I've got that on hand. And I can make tacos at the last minute because I don't have to run to the store to buy a seasoning packet. Whatever I can do to make it easier to get dinner on the table is my goal, especially during these busy seasons. Because having a starter already ready for me in the fridge or the pantry or wherever can mean the difference between ending up at the drive-thru or sitting around our table eating together. Number 4, let's talk tech stuff. Now, I'm a pretty tech comfortable person, but if there's anything that's going to leave me frazzled, it's starting our day where I have to make a call to my tech guy, aka my husband. Go device by device and check things like, what's the status of the charging cord? Are you going to need a new one now or soon? If so, put it on your list. Is it up to date? Do you have the filters or whatever other security measures you need for it? Are there apps that need to be added or deleted or signed in? We use 1Password to safely store passwords and share them between each other. You can have a family shared folder so that anyone who's logged in can access the passwords for OutSchool and PBS and Netflix and whatever are the sites that you use for your homeschool. And don't forget to check the streaming apps on your TV. Not very often, but sometimes you will get logged out. And in fact, this is a great activity to pass off to your kids, especially if they're on the older side or teens. They can totally do this kind of thing for you. Last up, a new school year is a really great time to check and refresh your chore charts, job charts, whatever you want to call them. As our kids get older, sometimes we forget that they are capable of taking on more than what they did last year, either the number of chores or the difficulty. And don't just focus on them. Also take a look at the lists for the adults in your home. Sometimes you're just going to need to make adjustments depending on what the new schedule is. Seasons change. Last year, I found that I had to change twice what day I did my grocery shopping because it wasn't working with the flow of our home with everything, frankly. So I had to make those changes. And I would have saved myself a lot of frustration if I had thought about that aspect specifically before the school year had started. Now, if you are interested in how we handle jobs and chores with our teens, click on the video on your screen. Thanks for watching.